Right, hello, it's Saturday the 13th of January. So Saturday 13th of January 2018, and I thought, well, why not put your head on the block and put out some predictions for the year ahead. And I'll start with my major predictions and who will finish up as world number one come the end of 2018. So if we go with start off with the Masters, obviously that's the first major. Defending champion Sergio, he for me will not win this year. I'm going with an obvious choice, just given his track record over the last 3 or 4 years. That's Jordan Spieth. His win at the Open last year, I think, will nullify any issues he has around that 12th hole. His track record of pedigree there is second to none. It's better than Woods. Effectively, just he's so good and consistent there. He will be in the hunt this year again. So I expect him to win the Masters. I think it will be interesting because DJ will hopefully be fit and not fallen down a flight of stairs this time round. But I still think Spieth is the one to watch here. If you want an outsider, or somebody perhaps in that sort of second tier of people to maybe think out of, then Marc Leishman, but I'll talk about him a bit more later. Marc Leishman might be worth a cheeky bet because he tends to turn up in the majors. So Masters champion Jordan Spieth for me. Moving on, we've got the US Open at Shinnecock. Shinnecock will be vastly different to Erin Hills. Erin Hills obviously massively wide fairways. People thought it was a bomber's course. It wasn't. If you look at the leaderboard, not all of them were bombers. It's going to be tight. Keeping it in the fairway is going to be a premium. Iron shots are going to be a premium, and putting. I sort of thought, been flipping to and forward around this. Actually, I think this could be set up again for Justin Rose. I mean, obviously he won a couple of years ago at Merion. And his game at the minute, he's just in awesome form. I like him I like him anyway. I know some people think he's a bit too polished. You can't really. He's got a bit of a veneer to him that's a bit fabricated. I just think he's a top bloke. I think he's a top bloke who is unbelievable tee to green. If his putter works, then I don't think there are many players that are better than him. So I like him a lot for the US Open. And I think a couple of other players to look out for, outsiders. Again, just outside kind of the tier 1 players, you've got Brian Harman, the lefty, and Kevin Kisner. And I like both these guys for the very similar reasons. They're not the longest, but I don't think you have to be off Shinnecock. They are good iron players. They keep the ball in play, and they're both really gritty competitors. The US Open is normally fast, firm, brutal conditions. It's a mental game. Both of those guys there's a bit of feistiness about them I do like, so I would certainly look at them. I will be looking at them each way when it comes to the US Open. And then moving on from there, obviously we'll have the Open, which will be at Carnoustie again this year. Classic track. Last time it was there 2007 with Porrick Harrington. Was victorious over Sergio Garcia, and it's actually my prediction this year will be Sergio. I think he's better than a one major winner. He's shown that with his pedigree over the years. He's come so close. He clearly likes the Open. He plays well in windy conditions. He seems to have a bit of magic around that week. And he's obviously got some history there at Carnoustie. He didn't blow up at Carnoustie. Harrington was just awesome. He was just better than everybody else that week. So I like Sergio. I really do like Sergio for that week. I wouldn't, I'd also say Spieth's going to be there or there, but I think, to be fair, Spieth will be at everything, pretty much. But I do like Garcia. And I suppose another name I will throw out there, and he gets thrown out a fair bit. Now, I've been on record by saying I'm not sure whether this guy will ever win a major. I think he's super talented. I think he's a great ambassador for the game. I'm just not sure whether mentally he's got it. I think he's the American version of Monty, and that's Ricky Fowler. I do, however, think that if he is to win one, it probably is likely to be an Open. He's done pretty well in links. He won the Scottish Open well, either the Scottish or the Irish Open a couple of years ago. He tends to perform okay at the Open. He hits the ball well. He's grown up on California kid in the wind, so he's kind of used to those conditions. So I think he's certainly one to bear in mind. But I say there's a huge caveat earlier there that I don't think he'll ever win one, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did turn up at the Open. And then finally, the USPGA, which is being played at Bellerive in St. Louis. Now, one thing, so Midwest America in the middle of summer or August is going to be baking hot, humid as hell, running fast. It's going to be a crapshoot, and it's going to be a big hitter from what I hear about the course itself. So all the big guns, your John Rahms, your Rorys, your DJs, Brooks Koepka, all those guys are going to be in the mix. This is for all the bombers. And if one of those can put it all together, plus the putter, they could win. But I am going left field, and I mentioned this guy at the beginning. That's Marc Leishman. His pedigree in majors, if you go look it up, it's ridiculous. He's one of these players that's sort of completely unheralded, very unknown, but I do think has a real opportunity to win a major at some stage. He's getting better and better, closer and closer to winning one of these big tournaments. I just like him. There's something about him. I know a lot of people are talking about it. If you look at, if you listen to any podcasts like the No Laying Up and Foreplay podcast, Shane Bacon, some of these guys, they all talk positively about him as well and think he's going to make some inroads. But that's my kind of slightly random outsider pick. So for me, Masters Spieth, US Open Justin Rose, the Open Sergio Garcia, and finally USPGA will be Marc Leishman. And as for world number one, I'm going to stick with DJ. He's going to win enough tournaments throughout the year to keep him above everybody else. I don't think he's going to win a major this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he did, but I don't think he will. But he's just so good that I don't think somebody's going to win enough tournaments to catch him up. So I think he'll finish off again as world number one at the end of 2018. And they're my predictions for the majors and world number one for 2018. I look forward to keeping you updated over the year and seeing how I've fared. Cheers.